Arizona, of course, was a state at that time, but it still had a lot of open land, as it does now. You can graze cattle just about anywhere. It's open range. She said, I would like to build a place right here, and pointed down to this area. They landed the plane way down to the west, where it gets flat, where you could land the plane better. Got up here by car and decided this is where we're going to build a house. Well, that was 1941, but we had a little war going on, actually a big war going on at the end of that year, and so they didn't get to come back until 1947. Jack obviously would have been very busy. His best friend was Howard Hughes, and he was developing aircraft for the war. They couldn't come back yet. When they got back, Helen was ready to go. She had no architectural training or anything like that, but she actually designed this house. It's about 3,000 square feet, all built out of the same red rock that I've been pointing out to you everywhere we go. If you look at it, though, very closely, and I tell you what to look for, okay, you'll notice it. Remember how variegated and different colors there were on the wall where we were standing, and even when we were looking over at Eagle's Nest? Doesn't it look a little bit too continuous and red here? There's a reason for that, and I'll get to it. It actually had been stained at one time in the 70s. People thinking that, oh, this makes it look better. Well, not necessarily natural. Anyway, Helen's had some parameters, and those were to be use all native stone, which they did. She said, do not cut down any of the trees. You can imagine her view from up there. I think she picked an excellent view, right on this big heavy rock. Oh yeah, there's guys working up there. Okay. Yeah. Hey. Oh, that's Eric. He's the system manager, so he must be looking for something up there. Hi, Eric. Hey. How goes it? Good. You? Not too bad. Don't fall. Don't jump. Good news up here. Good news? Oh, views.
Good
yeah.
view. Good news.
Is Bobby Goose ready?
So,
Don't jump! Don't jump! Stay there!
yes, you can. I wish I could take you up there, but we can't.
I had there.
But I'll get to that in a story.
Yeah,
You can see
there.
it's built on good, solid. She had little things that she wanted done. Pieces of turquoise put in different places. Flagstone, all flagstone floors. It has, I said 3,000 square feet, so probably, let's see, 4 bedrooms in the whole thing, a servant's quarter, of course, kitchen, dining area, living area, typical home. But it's shaped kind of like an inverted L, or a kind of a crazy lazy L. The chimney you see here is integrated into the top floor where they have an upper barbecue, just like people would do today. Oh, hey, I need an outdoor kitchen here. Same type of thing. So she was way ahead of herself. Those windows are not original. They would have had the money, and they did, to have the wooden window frames that they typically were used to from being back east. And they did not cut the trees here, so they went all the way to Flagstaff. Now you could drive from here to Flagstaff in about 40 minutes, but back then you had to take the old Schnebley Hill Road, which was actually cut, as a fire road. It's a very rough road. I've been out there on it in the Jeep, and it would take them 4.5 days each way. So what they did was made a modified truck, because you get up to Flagstaff, you're at 7,000 feet. That is big forest up there, and they cut that forest all the time. So you have trees that are 40, 50 feet, maybe taller. And they loaded them onto a truck and dragged it all the way back on that road, taking 4.5 days each time to do their millwork here right on site. So that was done. The house got finished. It was very livable. There were things that she wanted to do, but they just didn't do it. She wanted waterfalls coming out of the fireplace to make it cooler. And the workers said, this really isn't going to work. That's not going to do anything for you. When they first got here, this lower loop road, like I said, it had homesteaders on it, but they still didn't have electricity. They didn't have telephone. And the state finally said, yeah, we'll put that in for you, because you can do it together. Same pole, different wires. So they had phone, they had electricity, but they didn't have water. They had to haul the workers' water up from the creek. I would have hated to have been on that duty. Anyway, they finally dug a well up there, so they have a big, it's 1,000 feet down. So they're going down past what we call water level here, 1,000 feet down to the ground. The well on my property goes 600 feet, so I'm not surprised that I'm on flatter land. So they got water up there, and it made it worked really well because it's higher, and of course gravity flow into the house, and then they had more pumps in the house to get it through the bathrooms and the kitchen. So they had all the modern amenities. The honeymoon didn't last very long. They were raising cattle out here, and they got divorced in 1950. So they didn't have a very long time here together. It was thought that maybe Jack was a little too busy back east and had something going on more than just business, if you know what I mean. So